The text lights up your phone. Hey, so sorry, something came up. Can we reschedule? And you brace for the disappointment. You wait for that little sink in your chest, but it doesn't come. Instead, something else floods in. Your shoulders drop, your chest opens. A breath you didn't even know you were holding finally lets go. Relief, pure, warm, embarrassing relief. And then, right on its heels, the guilt, because these were people you like. People you were genuinely looking forward to seeing. So why does getting out of it feel like being let out of jail? You already have a theory, and it isn't a kind one. You're a bad friend. You're antisocial. Maybe underneath it all, you're just a little cold. And every time that relief shows up, it feels like one more piece of evidence in the case against you. But the story doesn't hold, because you weren't dreading these people when you said yes. You wanted to go. You meant it. And you're not relieved to lose them. You'd be heartbroken if they vanished from your life. So what is the relief actually about? Look at where it lives. It doesn't hit when you picture your friend's face. It hits when you picture the going, the getting dressed, the leaving the house, the being on. That's the clue. The relief was never about the people at all. It was about the cost. So let's talk about that cost, because almost nobody counts it. Here's the thing your brain knows that you never quite say out loud. Being around other people is work, even when you love them. In every conversation, some quiet part of you is running in the background. Reading their face, tracking their tone, choosing your words, deciding when to laugh, managing how you're coming across. A constant low-level performance you're barely aware you're giving, and performing costs energy. Now, you have a reserve for that. Think of it as a battery. Some people's is enormous and charges in a crowd. Some people's is smaller, drains faster, and only refills in silence. Neither is better. But if yours is running low, from a long week, from too much peopling, then the thought of spending even more of it doesn't feel exciting. It feels like a threat. And this is where time plays its trick on you. When you said yes, those plans were safely in the future. And future you is a generous, well-rested, imaginary person who can handle anything. So you said yes freely, but plans don't stay in the future. They come due. And when the day arrives, it isn't well-rested future you who has to go. It's tired, depleted, right now you, holding the bill that future you happily signed. So when the cancellation lands, what actually happens inside you? Your body had been quietly bracing for the drain, tensing for the spend, and suddenly, the spend is called off. The brace releases all at once. That release is the relief. It isn't joy that they're gone. It's your nervous system unclenching a fist it had been holding for days. And for some people, there's a second weight on top. If you work hard to be easy, to be pleasant, to never be too much, then socializing isn't just spending energy. It's a shift you can never quite clock out of. You don't come home from that rested. You come home needing to recover. So, of course, a cancellation feels like a gift. And here's what changes everything. That relief was never a flaw in your character. It's a gauge. It isn't telling you that you're cold, or that you don't love your people, or that something in you is broken. It's telling you one simple physical fact. The tank is low. You have been giving more than you had to give, and your body finally found a place to say so out loud. The relief isn't proof that you didn't want to see them. It's proof that you didn't have anything left to give them. And now, sit with the strangest part. Look at the two feelings that arrive together, the relief and the guilt. They aren't opposites. They point at the exact same wound. Because if rest makes you feel guilty, if a free evening feels like something you got away with, then somewhere along the way, you learned that your own limits don't count, that everyone else's needs are real, and yours are an inconvenience. The guilt isn't a sign you did something wrong. It's a sign you've been overriding yourself for so long that rest now feels like stealing. But here's where it quietly costs you, and it cuts both ways. Because if you let the relief win every single time, something sad happens very slowly. You cancel the coffee, you skip the dinner, you dodge the party. Each one feels like the right call in the moment. But connection is the one thing that actually refills the battery you keep guarding. So you can end up canceling your way out of the very thing that would recharge you. And loneliness never arrives with a bang. It arrives as a long series of perfectly reasonable cancellations. But go the other way, and it's just as costly. If you're so ashamed of the relief that you force yourself to every single thing, always pushing through, never once listening, you burn the reserve down to nothing. And then you're showing up in body, but gone in spirit. Exhausted, quietly resenting the people in front of you for a cost that was never their fault. You start to dread the very people you love, which is the exact thing you were so afraid of in the first place. And both traps grow from the same mistake, treating the relief as a verdict instead of a message. So here's how you actually work with it. 3 shifts. First, change the name. The next time that relief floods in, don't reach for, "I'm a terrible friend." Reach for the true thing instead. "My tank is low, and this is the gauge reading empty." That's all it is. You're not a bad person. You're a person with a limit, being shown exactly where it sits. The shame only ever existed because you were reading a fuel gauge as a character flaw. Second, read what it's actually telling you, because the relief comes in two flavors and they call for opposite answers. Is it every plan lately? A blanket wave of relief at anything on the calendar? Then the message is depletion. You don't need to cancel this one thing. You need real rest, on purpose, before you run all the way empty. Or is it only this plan, this specific person, this dynamic that leaves you a little smaller every time you see them? Then it isn't your battery at all. It's a boundary quietly asking to be honored. Same feeling, two completely different messages. Learn to tell them apart. Third, fix the yes, not the cancel. Here's the real move. The problem was never how you cancel, it's how you commit. You keep handing out a big, generous yes in the future and paying for it in the present. So protect your energy at the moment of the yes. Say yes to less. Say yes to shorter. Say yes to the coffee instead of the whole day. And guard the plans that genuinely fill you back up. Because not all connection drains you. Some of it is the exact thing that brings you back to life. And when you truly do need to cancel, do it early and honestly. "I'm running on empty and I want to actually be present with you. Can we move it?" Protects a friendship. A last-minute fake excuse slowly rots it. So, the next time that text comes in and the relief washes over you before the guilt can catch up, don't pile the guilt on at all. The relief was never a referendum on the people you love. It's a gauge telling you you've been running low for longer than you'd admit. So listen to it. Rest when the tiredness is real. Set the boundary when it's needed, and save your yeses for the people and the moments that hand your energy back. And here's the strange twist waiting on the other side of all this. It isn't only people you'll dodge to protect your energy. Sometimes it's the one thing you want most in the entire world, the project, the dream, the work that actually matters to you. And you'll scrub the whole house clean before you'll go anywhere near it. Why do you run hardest from the very thing you care about most? That's the next one. I'll see you there.